So I said I would do these daily news reviews, very short videos where I go over like two or three headlines, and I would do this for my VIP patrons or above. And now I have a VIP patron. Thank you, Dwayne. And so I'm going to start doing these news reviews, and I hope you enjoy it, Dwayne. It's going to be an unlisted video on YouTube, and you're more than welcome to share the link with anyone that you want. So I'm going to jump right into it. This is from RT. Senior Iranian commander killed in drone strike on his car near Iraqi-Syrian border, reports. So this just happened, so we kind of have to wait for concrete details to come in. But they say that it's a senior commander of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps that was killed. This is the organization Iran uses to fight terrorists like the Islamic State and Al-Qaeda all across the region. And who do we know that operates drones near the Syrian-Iraqi border? That would be the United States. They used the drone to kill Iranian General Soleimani in Iraq. And this most recent hit comes right after a senior Iranian nuclear scientist was assassinated in Iran. So this is a deliberate campaign of escalation between the U.S. and Iran, and we're kind of trying to blame Israel for this. Israel is surely involved, but this is the U.S. doing this. And we have the Western media and the U.S. media in particular trying to convince the public that President-elect Joe Biden wanted to return to the Iran nuclear deal. And now they're saying that this campaign of escalation that Trump or Israel or both are involved in is meant to sabotage Joe Biden's, thirst for peace. Of course, this is not true at all. The U.S. proposed Iran nuclear deal as far back as 2009 was admittedly a ploy. They wanted to propose peace to Iran. They were deliberately to sabotage it, blame the deal falling apart on Iran, and using that as a pretext to escalate conflict with Iran. And they wanted to do it this way so that they could make it look like the U.S. wanted peace, but it was Iran who chose war. So that's what we're seeing here. They're going to make Biden look like he was a reluctant inheritant of this escalation here. And that's going to be the reason that they say he wasn't able to return to the nuclear deal. But of course, they had no intention of returning to it. They had every intention of moving closer to war with Iran, not further away from it. And just remember that it was under Obama Biden when the war in Syria began, and the war in Syria was always about eliminating one of Iran's closest allies and turning that country into a springboard of extremism into Iraq and into Iran. So that's what's going on there. Just keep an eye on that, because I don't think we've seen the last. I think this is a wider campaign that's started and will continue. So please keep an eye on that. That's very critical. Now, because I'm in Thailand, I have to keep an eye on Thai news. But just so you know, if you have no idea what's going on in Thailand, there's these anti-government protests, and they're really a bad sequel to the US-backed mobs in Hong Kong. And as a matter of fact, the protest leaders here in Thailand have literally traveled to Hong Kong to meet with leaders of the Hong Kong protests like Joshua Wong and Nathan Law. So that's what's going on here. And the US government is funding the core organizations that are supporting the protesters here in Thailand. Now, there's also these billionaire-led opposition parties that are behind the protests and who the U.S. wants to put into power. And the main opposition party is called Pheu Thai, which in Thai means four Thais, for Thailand. Okay, so the headline here is Khunying Sudarat severs all ties with Pheu Thai. Now, Sudarat, pictured here in the center, she was the senior leader of Pheu Thai in Thailand. Now, I say senior leader in Thailand because Thaksin Shinawatra, this ex-prime minister, now fugitive, hiding overseas, actually still openly runs Pheu Thai. And Sudarat was just his nominee running the party in his absence. And people are speculating that she left because Thaksin's wife was trying to muscle in and take over the party. Well, That's not true because Sudarat knows the party belongs to Thaksin Shinawatra. She answers to him. So this is about something else. This is probably Pheu Thai and its senior leadership kind of sensing things aren't going well for the opposition. When these protests start and then when they end badly, these parties usually end up taking a legal hit, and the senior leaders sometimes end up being banned from politics. So she's jumping ship before that happens. If there is a legal move against the opposition, the US-backed opposition here, she'll be safe because she's in the background, and once everything cools down, she can come back and start a new party and continue representing Thaksin and the West who backs Thaksin. So that's what's going on here with this article. So like I said, I'm gonna post this video on YouTube unlisted, and you can share that link with whoever you want if you're one of my VIP patrons. And I'll probably post it publicly like a half a week, a couple of days, or a half a week later. But you will be getting the news on the day that I actually review it. And please give me feedback, what you think about, if you're a patron, tell me what you want to see from my channel, from my website. I want to kind of build a community. This isn't just to get support from my readers and viewers. I also kind of want to build a community where we try to create better alternative media, but also I have some ideas of some activism that we can do, some ideas that we can do to improve our communities. I've written about, very practical solutions and technological solutions that we could use. So I want to kind of build that up around the Patreon account. So feel free to contribute and to give feedback. And I just want to say, everyone who's supporting me on Patreon, or if you're watching this video after I've made it public and you just like and share the videos or share my articles, I just want to say thank you so much for all the support. It means so much to me when you're covering news, foreign interference, wars, corrupt corporations hurting people. It's not pleasant work, but when I see people appreciating it and supporting it, it really does help keep me going and to keep a positive mindset. So thank you very much, and thank you for watching.